Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you to the launch of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones, GASEZ. This is an exciting and important initiative to foster investment for sustainable development. Special economic zones have been proliferating worldwide. According to UNCTAD estimates, there are nearly 7,000 zones in over 140 countries. Special economic zones can make important contributions to economic growth and sustainable development. Zones can help attract investment, create jobs, boost exports, and build productive capacity. They can also support global value chain integration, industrial upgrading, and diversification. As the global economy enters a new era, zones are faced with new challenges and opportunities arising from three mega drivers: the new industrial revolution, the sustainability imperative, and the realignment of the global economic governance. Mobilizing global support for SEZ and maximizing their contribution to sustainable development requires concerted efforts by key players in the SEZ community. Collectively, SEZ can be more effective in modernization and to bring on board stakeholders, including governments, the private sectors, and international organizations. The objective of GASEZ is to advance the new generation of special economic zones for sustainable development. The core functions of the alliance include facilitating cross-border and cross-industry collaboration in trade investment promotion, collective policy advocacy for sound enabling frameworks for SEZ at the national, regional, and global levels, promoting awareness of contributions of SEZ to sustainable development, peer learning through the exchange of experiences, best practices, and lessons learned, and undertaking joint technical cooperation programs for modernizing SEZ and promoting SDG model zones. In 2019, UNCTAD's World Investment Report presented a comprehensive analysis of SEZ and the framework for a new generation of zones, including SDG model zones. We also proposed that UNCTAD Trade and Development Board the initiative of establishing gazettes and won the support of UNCTAD's 195 member states. We are pleased with the global, regional, and the national SEZ associations that have joined us in this initiative. During the launch today, you will hear from each of the founding members and the key partners in support of GASEZ. The next intervention will be by Mr. Samir Hamrouni, CEO of the World Free Zone Organization. Currently, Samir and I co-chair the GASEZ. Samir, please.
I would like, first of all, to express on behalf of my organization, the World Free Zone Organization, our gratitude for UNCTAD for putting the right framework, resources, and support for the implementation of the Global Alliance for Special Economic Zones. This alliance is timely. The world just started firmly exiting a pandemic period, and we started again another conflictive situation. And this alliance will show the world that the more than 7,000 zones, economic zones, special zones, science park, industrial park, free zone, foreign trade zone, are resilient and are ready to contribute to the economic development. We as organization, we give our full support to this alliance mainly for three reasons. The first reason, we strongly believe that this alliance will have three roles. One is improving the day-to-day work of the zones. The second is to integrate these zones within their ecosystem. And the third, it is to anticipate the needs of the zones. Improving the day-to-day of the zones. Zones should be the best place to do business in the country, should be safe, should be secure, should be digitally ready, should improve the entrepreneurship, should support the small and medium enterprises, should be friendly with the environment. These are what we are expecting from the 7,000 free zones to do. Regarding the ecosystem, we zones, we have and we share very frequently a common stakeholders, and the way we integrate ourselves and we work with our stakeholders will allow us to do better our day-to-day work. And the second, we need to start thinking what is the future preparing for the zones. The second reason we give the full support to this alliance is we don't need to start everything from scratch. Wherever you are, developed or developing country, wherever you are, zone, free trade, foreign trade, industrial park, science park, there are always best practices, failures, listen to learn, and the alliance will be able to collect these best practices, these successful story, and share it with its member. And the third, and the last and not least, element we give the full support of the launching of this alliance is to the support zones to improve their contribution and their efficiency towards the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goal of the United Nations. We give the full support to this global alliance, and we thank again our colleague, the founding members of this initiative, and UNCTAD for its launching. See you in Jamaica for the official launching of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones. Thank you very much.
Distinguished representative, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is my great pleasure to join you for this important moment as we launch the Global Alliance on Special Economic Zones. Through this alliance, we want to make the proven tool of economic planning a tool for sustainable development. We will do so by working together, learning together, and innovating together with 8 global, regional, and national associations of special economic zones. This opportunity could not be greater. There are around 7,000 special zones in 145 economies around the globe. They employ well over 100 million people directly and twice as much indirectly. According to our estimates, 600 more special economic zones are currently being planned or built around the globe. The growth of special economic zones is easy to explain. These zones promote investment, boost exports, create jobs, and build productive capacities. Many of them have played a historic role in transforming economies, upgrading industries, and building global value chains. But despite these successes, some zones have performed below expectations. Some have become isolated from their host economies, and others have been a source of labor and environmental concerns. So we launch this new alliance at a time when special economic zones face new challenges and opportunities due to the ongoing pandemic, such as rising protectionism, shifting trade preferences, global corporate tax reforms, and a sustained push towards more environmental accountability in global production. The 2030 Agenda provides an opportunity for special economic zones to attract investment by putting sustainable development goals at the forefront of their value proposition. A new model of sustainable special economic zones is therefore rapidly taking shape, and they are contributing to more inclusive, resilient, and sustainable economies in the countries where they operate. In all these areas, the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones can play a critical role by facilitating cross-border, cross-continental, and cross industry cooperation between them. So, dear friends, I fully endorse this initiative and pledge UNCTAD's support in helping the Alliance meet its full potential. Let me finish by thanking all of you, our partners. Today, we begin a great journey together. I wish this alliance every success. Thank you.
About 7,000 special economic zones exist globally in 145 economies across the globe. These zones seek to attract investment that contributes to economic growth, export and industrial upgrading. As the global economy enters a new era, zones are facing challenges. They need to modernise and make positive environmental, social and governance contributions, adapt to the digital economy and adjust to a changing global policy environment. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides an opportunity for zones to contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. Zones can attract investment in SDG-relevant activities, adopt the highest levels of ESG standards, and promote inclusive growth through linkages and spillovers. Maximising the contribution of zones to sustainable development requires a concerted effort by key players in the Special Economic Zone community. The Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones will advance a new generation of special economic zones for sustainable development. GASEZ will facilitate collaboration in trade and investment promotion, provide collective policy advocacy, promote awareness of SEZ contributions to sustainable development, foster peer learning of best practices and lessons learnt, and develop joint technical cooperation programs for modernising SEZs and promoting SDG model zones.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me first express my appreciation to the UNCTAD team for organizing this important event to celebrate the launch of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones. I'm delighted to join you today as a representative of the African Special Economic Zones and founding member of this outstanding initiative of GASEZ. Since its inception, the African Special Economic Zones have created a sustainable environment to support foreign, domestic, direct investment, build sector-based industry, and develop human capital capacities. Over the past 5 years, 60 million jobs have been created in agro-processing, industrial fields and services, and more than $2.6 billion have been invested in the development of SEZ projects across the continent. SEZ have also led to export diversification, promoting regional trade and stimulating industrial spillover effect and clustering. They are the expression of the implementation of new industrial policies, leading to rebalancing import and export activities toward growth-based policies, serving domestic market and the regional demand. The Special Economic Zones programs serves as a key policy program underpinning special integrated industrial development, particularly in the context of unlocking and optimizing the Africa's comparative and competitive advantages. As of today, more than 200 projects have been developed and 73 projects have been announced for completion in the 47 of the 54 African countries. The African economic zones are facing today a time of change. They are entitled to develop new effective policies and strategies on trade facilitations, logistic competitiveness, supply chain, supporting the vision of creating one African market and the African Continental Free Trade Area. Ladies and gentlemen, being part of this global alliance on special economic zones, we are committed to contribute to the sustainable development and inclusive growth, prosperity of the special economic zones that we want. This collaborative framework that gathers SEZ across the world will offer the opportunity to our community to get together with an international network and interact with highly talented experts with the aim to optimize positive social economic impact while safeguarding the environment. I would like to commend the UNCTAD initiatives to support the SEZ development and provide expertise and share the best practices through the GASEZ platform. The Africa Economic Zones Organization is delighted to be part of this promising success of the Global Alliance, and we are looking forward for its success. Thank you very much.
It's an honor for me to be today acting as president for Free Trade Zone Association of the Americas in the launching of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones at the United Nations Conference of Trade and Development. Firstly, I would like to give you some figures regarding the social and economic impact of the special economic zones in Latin America and the Caribbean economies. By 2021, we calculate there are more than 400 special economic zones in our 25 countries, which create 1 million of direct jobs and almost 2 million of indirect jobs. The number of companies established in the Ibero-American SDGs are more than 13,000 that generate almost $40,000 million in exports. As you can appreciate, the SDGs are so important for our developing economies and constitute one of our best tools for the creation of formal employment, exports, and investment. In this context, this Global Alliance initiative is extremely important for us. The support of UNCTAD is the best umbrella to work together to attract investment, because sharing best practices between us always take us to a path of knowledge and prosperity. So we are so glad to make the next step, working our association globally together. About our common challenges through this Global Alliance, we think the most important is the Sustainable Development Goals agenda within our SDGs. From all the SDGs in our region, we are working to ensure that the human capital is first, and we would like to highlight that every day, more and more women are working in SDGs. Some countries have even reached a 50-50 ratio. If this doesn't work, then it creates economic opportunities, and as a consequence, it reduces inequalities. We have many examples where the special economic zones have been established in rural and in low-income areas, and as a result, they have been boosted to create ecosystems around them, eradicating poverty. Some SDGs even have universities within their scopes, creating the curriculum according to the skill required by the companies and creating new jobs opportunities. And of course, our infrastructure is one of the main competitive advantages that we have in the SDGs, with high-level standards, connectivity, lit buildings, utilities and services, and safety standards. Today, in this meeting, we want to compromise with UNCTAD and our colleagues that we will work day and night until every special economic zones in the region compromise in a common agenda towards the accomplishment of the SDGs. Because we know that for a long time, the special economic zones have been the best ambassador to bring SDGs standards to our region. And not only to attract investment, but also to guarantee the economic and social development of our countries. As it was written in the World Investment Report in 2019, the key objective should be to make special economic zones work for the SDGs, from privileged enclaves to widespread benefits, because we are convinced that the special economic zones bring prosperity for all. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Yuyan Song from the Green Partner of Industry Park in China, which is abbreviated by the JPIPC. It is an honor to participate and witness the official launch of Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones with you all. The industry park are the characteristic product of China reform and opening up. There are a total of 2,543 industry parks at provincial level and above in China, which is nearly 40% of total number of special economic zones worldwide. JPIPC mainly provides service for the national economic and technological development zones. We call them as NETDZs, which are the one of types of industry parks in China. They have provided quite valuable experience and best practice of China reform and opening up over the past 40 years. Official statistics in 2020 for UNCTAD showed that their gross regional product was RMB 11 trillion, accounting for 11% of GDP. Their total imports and exports were RMB 7 trillion, accounting for 21.7% of country's total imports and exports. They actually use foreign investment and reinvestment by the foreign invested enterprises was US dollars 57.4 billion, and they employed more than 25 million people. Since 1948, when the first UNCTAD were established, the concept of sustainable development have been integrated into the construction and development. As one of the most economically active regions with a high concentration of energy and resource consumption, they are the key areas for the promoting green development in China and the practicing concepts of Chinese eco-civilization. In view of this, in 2016, under the guidance and support of the Ministry of Commerce of China, JPIPC was officially established, dedicated to facilitating green transformation, high-quality development, and international cooperation for industry parks. Since its establishment, the JPIPC has been played the role of public service platform for Chinese industry parks in 5 function roles, which include information exchange, green mechanism research, international cooperation, green technology innovation application, and green financing. JPIPC would like to join the GASEZ and spare no efforts to the common mission. In the future, we are willing to work with the member organization of GASEZ to build multi-stakeholder partnership and promote investment, trade, and green cooperation around the world. As a bridge and a window between Chinese industry park and the world, JPIPC will actively provide Chinese experience and practice for the sustainable development of global special economic zones. Finally, I would like to say congratulations again and give great thanks to the UNCTAD colleagues for coordinating the GASEZ launch. I hope communicate with all of you face by face without the influence of epidemic, and sincerely hope everyone in the world living with peace and happiness. Thank you.
On behalf of the IASP, the International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation, I'm delighted to be part of this launch event of our Global Alliance. My name is Ebba Lund. I'm the CEO of IASP, the world's largest international association of science and technology parks, areas of innovation, innovation campuses, and similar projects, which in a broad sense can be considered one kind of special economic zones, or what we could also label special innovation zones. At present, the ISP has over 300 members in 78 countries, representing also 100,000 high-tech companies located within these innovation communities. And we connect the park and innovation area experts around the world, supporting them to promote economic development in their cities and regions. We do that from our world headquarters in Malaga in Spain, and also from our branch office in Beijing, China. And our members, they are catalysts or connectors who work within their local and regional ecosystems as intermediaries between government, universities and business to advance a sustainable economic development. Indeed, the UN Sustainable Development Goals have been a part of their core values for many years now, highlighting their commitment to keeping pace with the challenges of climate change and also of digital transformation. And today's fast-paced landscape of innovation, it's constantly evolving, and this collaboration among peers, as we will have in this alliance, it's really key to staying on top of the latest trends in the knowledge economy. So the ISP is truly honored to be part of this global alliance of special economic zones, which was initiated by UNCTAD, and we are happy to contribute and work together to drive growth and sustainable economic development at a global level. To really maximize also our impact as alliance members, we need to multiply the collaboration among special economic zones throughout the world. And that's something that this alliance, it can help us do even better as we strengthen lines of collaboration among our respective associations, building really on the networking effect as a powerful multiplier of resources, not only for the individual economic and innovation zones, but also for the many companies and entities that they serve. So we at the ISP, we look forward to sharing best practices and also learning from the experiences of everyone participating in this alliance as we work to advance our common goals. Thank you.
Greetings to all from the United States. My name is Jeff Toppel, and I am the new president of the National Association of Foreign Trade Zones based here in Washington, D.C. NAFTZ looks forward to celebrating its 50th year in 2023, and we're proud to be a founding member of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones. The American Foreign Trade Zones program has been in existence for nearly 90 years and has grown and adapted to changing economic conditions and opportunities. U.S. foreign trade zones now employ nearly 500,000 people from more than 3,400 firms. Each state in the U.S. has at least one foreign trade zone, and they total more than 400 different zones and subzones across America. U.S. foreign trade zones differ quite a bit from special economic zones around the world, as we have dual agency oversight by the U.S. Department of Commerce and Customs and Border Protection, and are considered to be one of the most secure ways to bring materials into the United States while providing benefits that help make U.S. businesses more competitive in the global marketplace. NAFTZ represents more than 700 grantees, operators, users, and service providers within U.S. foreign trade zones, and the association is the collective voice of these constituents back to the U.S. federal government. In this global economy, and especially in these challenging times, NAFTZ believes in the importance of this global alliance to promote global networking of zones professionals and associations to better facilitate trade and share best practices. NAFTZ looks forward to many years of active and productive relationships through the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones.
Hi, my name is Juan Torrens. I am the chairman of FEMOSA. What's and why is FEMOSA? A Swiss non-for-profit NGO based in Geneva, created under the umbrella of the Swiss Fondation M Invest. FEMOSA objectives are to support special economic zones development, especially in emerging countries. Our strategy are to maintain permanent contacts with CES and open FEMOSA to all of them, creating a CES cluster, improving an association spirit. Why FEMOSA is happy and proud to join GASEZ? Our slogan, working together since 2000, needs to go on. To achieve our commitment with CES, bringing them towards the new CES generation. To follow up the CES meeting held during the World Investment Forum in 2018 at Palais des Nations. During these sessions, the audience put on the table doubts and questions. Many of them have to be answered and postponed only because the pandemic. Now is the right time. Finally, because FEMOSA was created to fill the gap of knowledge, and 23 years later, the CES community continues to growing as the best and main destination for foreign direct investments. Thanks and welcome to GASEZ.
Thank Thank you for the opportunity to address you all at the launch of the Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones. I had the pleasure to participate in the summit session of the World Investment Forum in 2021 when the Global Alliance launch concept was first announced. Let me congratulate UNCTAD and member states for this initiative, which will announce and advance a new generation of special economic zones. We at the International Chamber of Commerce, we represent 45 million businesses worldwide across all regions. More than 60% of us are in the developing world, and we support this important initiative. We believe it has the potential to actually really help trade and investment flow and facilitate cross-border, cross-industry cooperation between special economic zones. Another important aspect of the Global Alliance is innovation and new practices, including through Sustainable Development Goal model zones. These aims, to be realised through a smart, decentralised network approach, are aligned with ICC's mission to grow the economy, revitalise global trade and promote environmental sustainability. For special economic zones to be effective, they must serve the end users, which are of course business. Businesses look forward to expanding internationally, businesses looking to invest abroad, businesses looking to innovate. Naturally, this requires special economic zones and their home governments to have the right policy frameworks in place. But in an increasingly competitive world between special economic zones, it also requires much more than that. Effective public relations, marketing, client service, in short, a business-like approach to winning business. Our hope, like that of the founders of the Global Alliance, is that through collaborative efforts, you will be able to help improve these services to business. And the ICC Global Network, we stand ready to work with you to achieve this objective.
On behalf of the World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies, let me first compliment James. And James, thank you for this very critical initiative. It is at a very opportune time, and it relies now central and core to what is happening in the world today. Every day during the pandemic, and even now, as we are towards the end of it hopefully, we are reminded about the vulnerabilities of the concentration of supply chains, about how disruption in supply chains impact each one of us in our daily lives, and very profoundly, if I may say so. And that these supply chains, as you had mentioned, James, in your earlier study, I recollect, are now not just going to become shorter, but get more onshored and closer to where the market potential is. And as these supply chains reorganize themselves in a post-pandemic new world order, I think we have a great opportunity where we can work together and create these economic zones which will be based on the core pillars of sustainability, of efficiency, of creating jobs, and helping us all work together with our complementarities. James, a very core impact of this initiative, and a very profound impact, if I may say so, of this initiative, will be on the MSMEs. They are the heart and the backbone of the entire supply chains. And these MSMEs are the ones which require plug-and-play models, which require the ecosystem support the most. And I think these MSMEs are also the heart of the new development model, because they are the ones we need to help come up on the path of sustainability, and most importantly, the entire livelihood and the job creation comes out of these MSMEs. So this initiative is going to be very, very impactful for them. James, if I may, with your permission, put forth a suggestion for all of us here. Why don't we create a digital platform showcasing the SEZs and the ecosystems available across the world? Each of our member states will have the opportunity to map out what they are offering to the manufacturing world, the skills, the ecosystem, the infrastructure. And very importantly, from this digital infrastructure will arise where we will have the learnings from each other on what are the success points which create these ecosystems together. They will also provide a framework for the policymakers in our respective countries, and also a roadmap for them to follow the best practices. This will help bring in more equity. And under your leadership, we at WIPA and at Invest India would be there to support in every way the creation of this digital platform. With that, let me thank you once again. This is truly very important as we step into a new world beyond the pandemic. And let's build this foundation together for all of us to make it happen. Thank you, James. and thank you to everyone.
The Global Alliance of Special Economic Zones was launched on the 17th of May 2022. The founding members are the Africa Economic Zones Organization, the Free Trade Zones Association of the Americas, the Green Partnership for Industrial Parks of China, the International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation, the National Association of Free Trade Zones, United States of America, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, the World Free and Special Economic Zones Federation, and the World Free Zone Organization. Together, GASEZ founding members represent thousands of special economic zones across Africa, the Americas, Asia and Europe, supporting companies that employ an estimated 100 million people, contributing to exports and fostering innovation and linkages with local economies. All are committed towards making GASEZ a strong global partnership of zones that will serve as a common platform for more sustainable, inclusive and resilient economies across the world.
Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of UNCTAD, I wish to express our great appreciation to the other founding members of GASEZ for their close collaboration and effective support to this global initiative. Together, we have co-created GASEZ and will co-develop the initiative and co-implement our partnerships. I thank our UNCTAD Secretary General Greenspan, ICC Secretary General Denton, and the WIPA President Bagla for their key messages and strong support. Thank you for those representing our founding members for your remarkable contributions. In particular, Mr. Ahmed Benis, Africa Economic Zone Organization, Mr. Gustavo Gonzalez de Vega, Free Trade Zone Association of Americas, Ms. Yuan Song, Green Partnership for Industrial Parks of China, Ms. Eva Land, International Association of Science Parks and Areas of Innovation, Mr. Jeffrey Taffel, National Association of Foreign Trade Zones of the United States, Mr. Juan Torrens, World Free and Special Economic Zone Federation, and Mr. Samir Hamiruni, CEO of World Free Zone Organization, for whom I would also like to express my gratitude for co-chairing with me the GASEZ at the time of its establishment. I also wish to thank my colleagues Paul Wessendorp and Stefania Bonilla for their effective, efficient organization and support of the functioning of the GASEZ. UNCTAD Investment Enterprise Division is honored to facilitate the development of GASEZ and its functions at the inception stage. Together, we'll build a better SEZ for the prosperity of the world. GASEZ will convene its global conference annually. Its inaugural conference will take place on June 13 in Jamaica. I look forward to welcoming all of you there and then. Thank you.